Hello and welcome back as we kick off Season 5 of the Louisville Cube League. Today we're going to be kicking off our new season with some Peasant Cube gameplay. Unfortunately, we don't have a draft to share, but we do have 3 matches of action to go through. If you are unfamiliar, Peasant Cube means that all cards included in this cube have had a paper printing at a common or uncommon rarity. You may see cards that you are used to seeing as rares but have been downshifted over time, so don't be too surprised if that comes up. This is the first video of our new season, but we'll be putting out a summary of the new season structure as a whole, so I won't get too much into that today. In addition, keep an eye out for a video coming soon with a summary of many of our main cubes that you may see regularly here over the next few months. Without any more delays, let's jump into today's matches with the rest of the commentary crew.
Hello and welcome to the first draft of our new season of the Louisville Cube League. My name is Joey.
I'm Prose.
And I'm Scott.
And the first draft we have for you here is our Popper Cube.
Peasant.
Unfortunately, we don't have the draft video from it. Yes, Peasant. I'm one of the people who always gets those confused, as much as during the draft we made fun of how much people got it confused, but so this cube's very foiled out, so we're going to have some glare to work through, but we see an early Kiora coming down here.
Yep, and that's Pellman on the right versus Scott here in voice with us on the left, so...
Yeah, and I can speak to my deck a little bit. This was a 10-person draft, so wheeling cards was a little speculative, and I ended up in sort of a Bant combination that's sort of doing blink things and sort of doing +1/+1 counter things. Kind of a mishmash, but I was happy enough with it overall.
Getting to Mana Leak, the first big play that Pellman goes for here. Stuck on 2 lands, but with nice ramp element, so it was still casting a 4-mana spell there.
Yeah, and Blastrum is kind of tricky for my deck to deal with. There are some draws I have in which that I can like put a bunch of chump blockers or like block and blink things or whatever, but this was kind of a slower start with my first permanent on the board on turn 3.
Abzan Falconer might be a newer addition. I know the +1/+1 counter theme to this Peasant Cube has gotten more support recently, and I don't recall seeing that one before. Seems maybe out of place given the blue-white Mana Leak start. A little surprised to see it.
Yeah, this game, it's going to look bad for a while, but I had a plan the whole time, and no spoilers, but let's just watch and see what my plan was.
So Boreal Outriders and then Terra Sunder, that is the green-white artifact land, so...
Yeah, which is in my deck only for dual land purposes, so getting that disenchanted effectively is, well, it's not great. That was not a part of my plan, just heads up. But I do have another tap dual land here. So I'm just going to get beat around the head for a little bit.
Importantly, we don't see an Outlast there, so representing, probably not trying to block, so just representing another counter of some sort. Rishkar.
Important to note with the Boreal Outrider here that all basics in this cube are considered snow, so even though they may not be, they are, so...
That was a reprieve. Just
Yeah, reprieve putting Rishkar back.
Yeah, it was a little telegraphed, like you mentioned, that I didn't Outlast, but, you know, I kind of had my hand forced there with getting my land destroyed the turn previous. And now I'm going to commit Orla Rogue, which is not like the most impressive. Like his creatures are all bigger than mine, but I am trying to clog up the board a little bit here and just buy myself some more time.
Right, especially having that land destroyed earlier, just more bodies to come up to the board so that even if Pellman does get to develop a little bit, you can maybe have some blocks. It's interesting that the choice not to attack with the Outrider there. I would have assumed trading it for the Falconeer would have been something Pellman would have been okay with doing, but I guess with the option to this turn replay Rishka, it maybe is worth more just to keep the body around.
Yeah, he's doing some potentially really powerful things here with +1/+1 counters on his board as well. He's going to recommit this Rishkar and be able to essentially turn all of his creatures into, Elvish Mystic.
Right. So Rishkar comes in with the counter because of the Boreal Outrider. So we've got 2 more counters here to place. Elvish Mystic doesn't need one because it can already do that. So
Right. With the 1/1s on the other side, maybe a consideration to making it bigger if mana wasn't going to be a concern going into the rest of the game, but looks like here just not putting a counter on the Visionary or Mystic so that it's still pretty much just on mana duty.
And he's tapping more mana here. I'm really just hoping he's not going to remove any of my permanents for a very specific reason. And he just plays another, big idiot, which good, solid, but I'm about to go over the top in a pretty commanding way. And if he doesn't have interaction for it, he will be dead on my next attack step. So leave your guesses in the comments right now because I'm evoking a Meadow
Boon.
Meadow Boon. So putting +1/+1 counters on all of my creatures, which thanks to the Falconer means they all fly.
Well, 2 of them
And
already
if you
flew,
want to,
so it's not that impressive.
if you want to do a quick little bit of math here, I'm attacking for exactly half of his life total.
Yep. Yeah, so certainly a tough spot. I mean, his creatures aren't insignificant in size here, and I know there are certainly some overrun effects in this cube, but
Yeah, and a removal spell really blunts my offense too. Just killing the Falconer means like his board is just way bigger than mine. So I'm kind of holding my breath a little bit, but I thought this was my best path forward to getting a game win here.
Right. Any answer to the Falconer, and he still gets to attack and immediately put you in the same position, but
yeah. So just a blast
no
term,
quick
though.
movement. Yeah, seems.
This gets a draw off the Kiora, so
Yeah.
that's he clearly didn't have
Yeah.
removal and was looking for it, but I just get to fly over for 10 and then 10. Nice clean game win there.
Yeah, I mean, from the first few turns, certainly didn't appear it was going to turn into that kind of game, but
yeah, and so that was part of the +1/+1 counter synergy that I sort of backdoored my way into during the draft. I also have the green 5-drop that essentially does the same thing, just puts a counter on your other creatures. I've got a few other counter things, but really, I just sort of have like solid creatures in 3 different colors and some counter magic. So
yeah, so we started our first game with a tapped land into untapped land to Mana Leak and play from there. And we started this game with Llanowar Elves into Jewel Thief on turn 2, so really just hitting a whole other axis here.
which honestly, Jewel Thief, one of my favorite cards in this cube. It's never like the most impressive thing in the world, but it's just a lot of power for a little amount of mana, and you get a treasure too. That's like colored fixes you. I love when I get to take that card.
No consideration towards attacking Kiora there.
No, I think my hand is a little more aggressive this time, and uh, Pellman showed me in the first game that he's got plenty of ways to like ramp and get his mana going. So I'm just not worried about it. I have to commit so many resources to attack it down. I'm not into it.
That's fair. I guess my concern is Kiora's not the ramp ability, but the card advantage. But I guess he did only show you one creature last game that could trigger Kiora, so maybe less of a problem.
Gifted Aetherborn isn't insignificant here.
Yeah, it could certainly pose a problem. I don't have a lot of ways to take a permanent off of the board once it hits. And he with the +1/+1 counter stuff he showed me already, it could definitely be a big issue.
It's a Boon
Good
Satyr.
mana leak to
Yeah, it's a
have,
mana leak.
as Boon's Satyr would have drawn a card and been able to trade with the Thief.
Not interested in trading the Aetherborn.
Yeah, which was a trade I was happy to make because the lifelink is somewhat scary, but yeah, he just lets it go, and I cash my treasure in to play another 3-drop.
So Falconer back, putting him kind of back where he was in the last game with a bit of inevitability if he can't deal with it.
Him not trading with the Aetherborn seemed to imply something like this, where Rishkar or something else could put counters on the Aetherborn.
Certainly. This is the curse that when he
Yes,
attacks me, his
Curse of
creatures get
Predation.
bigger. Yeah, yeah. So he's got a pretty menacing creature in play at the moment. I still feel like I could probably go over the top with one of my like plus one counter cards. Um, I don't remember if I have one though or not. Let's see. Let's find out.
Oof, brutal Reflector Mage.
Yeah. That's one of the things that put me into sort of a blink space. I got a Reflector Mage kind of late in pack one, and you know, there's not, yeah, as you see here, blinking a Reflector Mage is so brutal. It's like multiple time walks and another one just sitting in your graveyard waiting.
Yeah, so we can't play the Rishkar or the
Gifted
Aetherborn.
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 Yeah. And I have, not insignificant board pressure.
7 damage currently on the board with him at 12 life, so
Oof.
cycling
Thrilled to
Tusker.
see a simple cycle here like that.
He could
I'm
have,
very confident at this moment.
he could have cast this card, right? Or does
It's
the thing
7.
cost 7?
It's
Good
7, yeah.
lord. Yeah, it is.
I also just, even if he had the land and could play it, I can untap and flashback momentary blink and
Yeah.
mash,
Yeah, I mean
Although
that.
cycling it doesn't do a lot for the board either, so
Well, it's like if you do that though, you're not attacking with the Reflector Mage, so you're only attacking for 5, maybe 6 if you want to outlast, and then next turn he gets to play the Aetherborn and the Rishkar again. So like, I don't know. I mean, it's not the end all, but it's not nothing either. But Poison the Cup takes out the Jewel Thief
Jewel
at
Thief.
least.
yeah, didn't find a 5th land for this. I want to say Ridge Scale Tusker. Does that sound right?
That appears to be right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't get to get in with my Llanowar Elf as well, but I'm threatening lethal, and he has no creatures in play at the moment, so feeling pretty good.
Yeah, you can blink the Reflector Mage for anything he does play. So he can play the Aetherborn and then Rishkar. Presumably, the Aetherborn eats the bounce. He would need a 2-mana play to do anything after that. Oh, never mind. Now you can cast another 3. Thinking. Yeah, just decides he doesn't have enough here. Yeah.
I think there is a world where that bluff could work, though, if you just pass, because the attack is awkward, right? If you attack with all your flying creatures and there's a removal spell, then Aetherborn gets to eat the Llanowar Elves and he only takes 1. So, like, figuring out how Scott would attack and decide to play around things or anything he might try to play around, it's unlikely he doesn't go for a lethal line, but still,
Yeah, maybe worth making
there
him do
is
it.
some consideration to make.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any world where the Aetherborn ever actually gets to block with the Reflector
The momentary
Mage
blink in the
and
graveyard.
and the Momentary Blink, which, I mean, does, like I said, remove Reflector Mage as an attacker, but whether that's enough to make a difference, I'm not really sure. But, yeah, regardless, he knows he doesn't have
At any
anything
rate,
else.
I win the match, so
Hooray!
great. Yeah.
And we'll move straight on into the next match.
We are still keeping up with the King of the Hill setup, so the winner of each match will stay on camera.
But it is not guaranteed that the opponent will be on the same record.
Correct. Yeah.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay. With that cleared up, let's get into it. So getting to the next match, we have Junker moving over. As mentioned, records can be different. So Junker lost the round before this, as we have mismatched records here. But let's see if he's able to put up a fight, maybe take Scott's spot.
Yeah, and despite my match being pretty quick in round one, I didn't get a chance to see Junker's deck, so I'm going in blind here. This Seder Wayfinder is kind of a heads up. He's milling some mid-range green things, and the swamps sort of have me thinking Reanimator already, but you know.
And that's a strategy Junker likes to play. Seder Wayfinder feels like the most Junker card. I don't think I would have thought of it in the dark, but I remember during that standard format standing behind Junker's shoulder, watching him cast Seder Wayfinders frequently.
So Llanowar Elves and Kior's Follower versus Seder Wayfinder and a Lotleth Troll we're at the moment.
Yeah, Scott's mana development looking great. Just almost only dual lands and Follower doubling up on any mana that's necessary.
It's really easy to have good mana when your hand is almost all lands, because I kept sort of a land heavy hand here, and then just continued to draw more lands, which is pretty unfortunate. But I'm battling. I'm still trying to do something here.
And speaking of those lands, I believe the little conniption we saw Younger have is because that is an unland you just played, I believe.
Yeah, it's the land that has all land types, which in this cube I believe just functions as like a 5-color land. Other cubes it might do cooler stuff, but yeah. So Junker goes for a Chupacabra here, and I just momentary blink because it's kind of the only action I have, so I'm not just going to give it up for free. But I'm not feeling great.
Oh, drawn something.
There's the Whirler Rogue.
Whirler Rogue.
Which, not the most effective thing here, given that the troll does have trample.
If I knew that was on top of my deck, I may not have fired off that blink, because the Hero's Follower is not that important, but I'm just not doing anything, so I'm trying to get some value out of my cards.
Yeah. Interested to see here. Content to not discard anything to the troll, which in a Reanimator appearing deck is a little bit surprising.
Right, I missed if the Wayfinder put anything interesting into the graveyard, so not sure which piece we might be missing.
Mm-hmm.
There's something in the graveyard with power and toughness, but I cannot tell what it is.
Yeah, he forgot to do that in the middle of combat, but he does have a creature and a reanimate thing, so...
Okay, well, so there's Diabolic Servitude.
Yeah. And again, I don't have a lot of ways to deal with things on the battlefield, but also just all lands, so I couldn't deal with anything anywhere, so...
Yeah, and that Pathrazor, I mean, it only has Annihilator 3, but even a turn of that just seems like it sets you so far behind.
You could argue that maybe I should try and top deck Reflector Mage on my next turn, but I was a little on tilt, I'm not going to lie. I flooded pretty hard, and I'm playing 16 lands.
Yeah. So there's the Branch Walker exploring, showing Kitchen Finks.
Kitchen Finks real nice with a lot of the cards we saw out of Scott last match, as the +1/+1 counters, resetting that a couple of times. Real good value.
Junker just getting a swamp back from the Wayfinder there, and
Chupacabra in the graveyard, not the worst reanimation target to get him some tempo, but nothing too spooky yet.
So this is Nyxborn something? Nyx Weaver.
Yeah, it mills 2 cards in the upkeep, and
yeah.
I don't know, has some more flavor text after that, but that's the important part here. The milling.
He can sacrifice it to get something back to his hand, so long term it can pick up the Chupacabra or something else. I believe he can pick up anything?
Anything, yeah, target card.
So even if he mills a reanimation spell, he can use the Nitsweaver to get it back.
Utopia Sprawl, not sure of the color here. Not sure it really matters. Seems like colors are pretty well locked down at this point. Must be blue.
It was blue.
So yeah, just getting in for some damage. Junker milling through a couple of cards. He's probably happy not to have to draw here, but I believe there was the Lotleth Troll under the Chupacabra, so not the most exciting reanimate targets.
I believe the mill here was Forest Jiraga Tree Speaker.
Yeah.
Right. But, I mean, Junker could play it slow. He could block and then sack Nitsweaver so he doesn't take much damage, get back a card, and start just clearing up the board a little bit maybe, but going for something bigger.
All right, well, there's the Servitude, so yeah, gonna get
Okay, just doing this right away.
Yeah.
Here, I'm just confirming how Servitude works in terms of like removing the creature or removing the enchantment.
Yeah, so I believe if you remove the creature, the enchantment goes back to his hand. Or is it only if the creature dies?
Almost a week later, I couldn't tell you the intricacies anymore. I've forgotten them.
When the creature is put onto the battlefield with this enchantment dies, exile it and return this enchantment to its owner's hand. So if the creature dies, you get the enchantment back. If the enchantment leaves play, you exile the creature. So
Reflector Mage on Chupacabra gets rid of the enchantment, at least.
Yeah.
I also feel like it was a little bold to pick up the Diabolic Servitude. Anytime I see a reanimation effect that old, I'm like, what it says on the card could very easily not be what it does.
Yeah, so Junker learning here how Graft works. That's the
Cytoplast my card is
Rootkin.
Cytoplast Rootkin, and Junker just kindly walks into the onboard trick, costing me 1/1/1 counter. But he doesn't seem that concerned. Him getting the Servitude back in his hand is gotta be bad for me, you know? Like, it's a fine trade for him to make, even if it was a little silly.
Right. It had already gotten +1 value anyway, and it being back in his hand means he's not actually down a card.
Especially if he's going to keep milling sorceries and lands. Those are not very good.
And you could argue that getting the Servitude off the board is actually better in the face of a potential Reflector Mage or other bounce spell. He doesn't know what's in my deck yet either, but
and his potential mill on his upkeep. Like if he
certainly.
If he puts something big in there, having it already back in his hand is nice.
Okay, well there's something to reanimate. There's the Displaced Dinosaurs, but not.
Yeah, and he played Call the Bloodline, which enabled him to discard that. And the Dinos is not something I'm like terrified of. It's huge, but it is just a ground creature, and it's relatively easy to jump block.
Right.
Junker hasn't shown that he has a lot of things that will get pumped by the dinos.
Yeah. So I have a stock up here.
The dinos certainly feel like a card that gets more long-term value rather than instant reanimator value. Not even having trample is really lowers its impact.
I'm trying to think of anything we've seen from him so far that gets pumped, but I can't think of any.
No.
Well, does the Nixweaver isn't an enchantment creature?
It's only historic, so
historic doesn't include enchantment.
Artifacts, legendaries, and sagas.
Sure.
All right, so block here doesn't get to regrow his guy, and he gets to gain life. Joke's on you.
I suppose. Hey, look, more mana.
Okay, well, there's
a Locker Worm.
There's a better reanimation target, yeah. So I imagine we'll see that.
Yeah, he's slamming it. He's not a lot of thought necessary here. Bang. Oh, reprieve it. I tapped my Paradise Druid here, which I'm supposed to tap my Llanowar Elf, and I slightly mistapped my mana, but we talked about it, and he was fine with the fix.
Cheater.
I mean, yeah.
Also, just want to point out that as this match has gone on, Yonkers creatures have encroached more and more into the red zone permanently.
Well, they also just haven't moved, though. I'm not sure if they've encroached further.
Mm.
That Seder Wayfinder has come down, and I don't know necessarily that it's been touched since.
Oh, he attacked once. The turn he
Okay.
chupacabred me, but yeah, it's fine. So here I'm hard casting the Meadow Boon, whatever. Boom.
Interesting.
I might have some tricks up my sleeve.
Well, we know about Momentary Blink at least. So.
Oh, right, because it's not a dies trigger.
Nope. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
a leaves
leaves
play.
play.
It's a very silly card.
Powerful.
I kind of cooked here. Like I stumbled onto some weirdo synergies that I'm not sure were meant to be a thing in this cube.
Just no attempt to sniff out.
So I'm repulsing, which gets me the trigger and a card, which is pretty nice. But the only thing it really does here is kill his Nyx Weaver, which is valuable, but
it's kind of already done its job, though. I mean, we have Palaka Worm in the graveyard, so.
Yep. And I'm not even sure that this play was good. Like, maybe the repulse was more valuable just bouncing something that he reanimated, but I saw a cute line and I was like, ooh, I'm doing this, you know?
Well, like...
Right, like bouncing Palaka Worm is nice, except he's almost on enough mana to replay it anyway, yeah.
Yes, that's true. And he has Call the Bloodline, so he can, if he has another reanimated, effect, he can just discard it and reanimate it right away, too.
Right.
I really did not have a lot of tools for this matchup, just like looking at the cards I drafted, But I'm fighting.
Yeah, so Palaka Worm kind of resetting his life total here. Because, I mean, at 8, even with a creature, he was kind of precarious, but not anymore. That Rootkin has another ability, right? It can steal 1/1 counters back, so.
Yes, yeah. This is Jewel Thief again. And recommitting the Meadow Boon. I got it.
Interesting. No consideration to graft onto the Jewel Thief?
Is my Rootkin a 4/4 currently?
It is.
I believe so.
Okay, then I just forgot.
Is that a mistrigger from Scott on the day? Are we keeping track?
Well,
you could argue I chose not to. But no, I forgot.
Okay, well, there's Binding the Old Gods, which, interestingly enough, would have been a historic permanent to trigger the dinosaurs, but not sure the dinosaurs are better than the Palaka Worm in this scenario. Even
right,
with that
the
in
life
mind.
matters a lot. Like, Scott's attack last turn would have been pretty scary, especially with the ability to, as we were just talking about, move the +1/+1 counters around.
Eternal Witness gets back the dinosaurs, because he certainly can hardcast it.
Yep, they do cost 7, so... Palaka Worm staying home...
But we're back to no big creatures in the graveyard, I believe, on Yonkers' side. So if we can enter the worm, then...
Yeah, Reflector Mage here would be real nice. But instead I'm just going to send my creatures in.
Reflector Mage, temporary solution, but yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to get through again, because he also has that Call the Bloodline hanging out. And that is only once a turn, but you can do it on both players' turns. So it's really easy for him to just have a bunch of chump blockers, and those chump blockers gain him life. So I'm feeling not great about this game at the moment.
Was there something else we were representing with this attack?
No, I was just trying to push the damage in, and I knew that I would be able to reset my kitchen finks here, so I didn't care if that got blocked.
Not really sure why it's tapped still, but
We're getting there.
Yeah, so 1/1 counter on the Flicker Wisp.
Okay,
and
we
the Thief.
we didn't get there. Never mind.
I guess the good news is that I feel like Binding of the Old Gods is pretty weird, and that it's a saga that really does the best thing that it does, like when you play it.
Yeah, the creatures getting Death Touch not going to be relevant in this game.
Yeah, I mean,
these guys are huge.
I
They
guess
already
this
have
guy,
Death Touch.
his creature has Trample, so like there's a world, but like you're at 23, and it seems unlikely to super matter. It's like we're just gonna play
Here's
the dinosaur.
big dinos.
Yeah. Why do we? Oh, the land is tapped because it came into play from Binding. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So pair 7/7s. Although, yeah, I mean, you do have Flicker Wisp, which
yeah, I've got some flyers. I've got he's going to eat 2 of my guys, but I'm going to put some damage in and make Flicker Wisp potentially lethal-ish. Is the plan here?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you can't really block the Meadow Boon because if you do, the Flicker Wisp is lethal next turn.
No, it's lethal next turn anyway.
Oh, with the other damage, yeah. So
yeah,
maybe it is better to block the Flicker Wisp or the Meadow Boon than the Kitchen Finks, but
yeah. So here I'm just kind of hoping that the flyer is going to be good enough. Don't love that he's picking up his graveyard.
Yeah, it looks like a regrowth. I saw reanimate. That's not very good. But yeah, there's the regrowth.
Yeah,
so
if he had the life for animate would have done the same thing by animating Eternal Witness, get back Binding, but
yeah,
this attack seems slightly ambitious. I guess he has the call the night or call the bloodline.
Yeah, I start my turn being like, aren't you dead? Are you dead? And then I realized why he wasn't, and then I got sad because I thought I was going to steal one.
But it does leave him like a Reflector Mage away from dead, right?
Well, you block and gain the life and go to 1.
Yeah.
Oh, right, the lifelink.
Yeah. I still decide to make this attack. Not really sure why. I think I have sort of given up at this point because I don't, I have this blink, but I don't know. I'm just grasping at straws here.
I guess with the blink, actually, Reflector Mage would have done it because he has to block the Meadow Boon, and then you just get to blink it, and the Kitchen Finks does enough. But
the blink should have blinked Kitchen Finks instead, right? Because then it wouldn't have a counter on it.
What?
Right.
Yeah.
And you would have gotten to kill the vampire token
and gain 2 more life.
Yeah, I'm not defending my play here. like
well,
I said,
you gain the 2 life
kinda...
either way.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I think that my plan was to just let that happen and then flash back to blink and reset my Finks anyway, but even that's not like all that strong here.
Yeah, the reason that I think that it's still battleable though is because Younger's gone through a lot of his deck. Like he milled himself for I think 8 cards with the Nets Weaver. Like it doesn't feel like we need that much more to just be able to do some double block trades. And like even though he has the Call of the Bloodline, it does use up a card every time.
Listen, I understand. The urge to blink a card like Meadow Boon is so high. It's really hard to say no. Now, this attack, I guess, again, we keep forgetting about Call the Bloodline, and he has to block.
Well, and it also, I do need to do something here, but
We're
I
gonna
kind of
assume-
forget that Blockworm has trample,
Yeah,
so
you're
I take a
blocking
bunch of damage here.
Yeah.
But not lethal. I'm still alive. But I also, just on board, he can make a call token, and I cannot attack
Right.
for lethal, so not looking great. Try. He does the thing. I have 2 more lands in my hand again.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm pretty good at not like tilting about that stuff, but for whatever reason, that match really got me. I think like my deck played so nicely against Pellman, then it didn't, and I lost, and I was sad. So I don't know.
Yeah, brutal
yeah,
to get that deep in a game and still have 2 lands in your hand.
Yeah, and so Junker takes that one, and now we are both 1-1. But Junker won that match, so he's going to be on camera for our last match of this draft.
Let's get to it, see who we have for him. Here we have Griffin. First time I believe we've had him on camera for the league. He is unfortunately at the moment 0-2 in this draft, so trying to avoid the 0-3 while Junker's just looking to stay above 50% in this draft. Build a little bit of stakes for the league. This was our second draft on the day, and Junker 3-0'd the first one, so this match might determine who at the end of our first weekend of drafts between Junker and a couple of the other players who did well on the day could sit at the top of the leaderboard already. So both players looking for a win, obviously. Mother of Runes, great start from Griffin's side.
Yeah, I have to imagine both players here have probably their optimal turn ones, so it should be a good game.
Yeah.
Hidden stockpile, yeah.
You notice Mother of Runes didn't attack there, but got scooted forward a little bit. Just
well, he saw
Feeling-
Junker. He saw Junker encroaching, and you gotta fight fire with fire. You can't just let one person take over. That's probably why Junker beat Scott actually, because Scott refused to fight back over the zone abuse.
Look, man, I stayed to the zones. You got it. That's what they're there for. You got to use them.
We live in a society. It's true.
be interesting to see how easy triggering Revolt is on Griffin's side. We saw momentary blink. Often it's the blink cards that are, or no, because Revolt needs them to go to the graveyard or just leave play.
I think it's just leave play.
But regardless, we know at least one of those options not on the table here.
Yeah, if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn, so
Okay.
that is
What is okay?
Bartolome. I never know how to pronounce this card right. It's the Orzhov guy 2/2. You can sacrifice a creature or an artifact to put a +1/+1 counter on him.
Okay.
Right. So that will
2/1. Sorry.
As soon as he's able to sacrifice the first thing, that will make Hidden Stockpile be able to trigger on each of his turns, as he can just sacrifice the token from Hidden Stockpile, if nothing else, to get another trigger, get his guy one bigger.
Yeah, so Griffin is spending some time here and setting up what looks to be like a pretty pretty impactful engine, whereas Junker is not played a spell after that Findhorn Elves.
Some other runes getting busy.
I think I would have preferred getting more and less aggressive here, shooting Junker for 2, sacking it, killing the elves with the 1 mana to get the revolt that turn, but maybe that's using up too much of our red cap against the green deck.
Right.
Yeah, it is an appealing play to make. Maybe he is just playing conservative out of a little respect for what Junker could be holding still.
Right, it would be an embarrassing play if Junker then plays another X1 creature to have that used up. Ooh.
A bit punished here for attacking with the Mother of Runes. Yeah, the Bone Shard's going to take it out. It's going to put the dinosaurs into the graveyard.
Really big play there. Griffin wanting to sack his creature.
Feed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, Revolt only triggering on your turn, so not going to get that benefit. And also here's some dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's a a little bit risky here, given that if Griffin untaps and kills the Dino, his Yunker's life total will be greatly under pressure. But let's see if Griffin is able to do that.
And okay, we see the
Okay.
removal
Ultimate
spell.
price. So attacking for 5
Now we're coming in
here.
for so Yunker needs something on his turn. And he's not cranial
And
plating.
cranial plating, okay. I think with cranial plating, I would be inclined to just sacrifice the red cap here to trigger the revolt, but
Yep, but we're putting the Dino back in play.
mm-hmm.
Right. And it's important to remember from Griffin's side, he doesn't know how easy it is for Yunker to trigger the dinosaur. Again, from what we've seen of Yunker's deck, it's just this 7/7. There's not a lot of other things to be made into 7/7s besides Binding of the Old Gods.
Which would get to attack once as a 7/7. I guess blocking is relevant here as well, but
Am I incorrect here that Griffin has lethal if he sees it? If you attack with both creatures, you have to block Ian because you can sack red cap twice and make it 5 power, right? And if you equip the plating beforehand, then red cap comes in for 3.
Oh,
I guess you can't sack it because he has to block Ian, so you lose your sack outlet. Is the joke here?
I think you're right if he has 2 black mana, because then
which he does.
Speed, re-equip it, and wouldn't it then deal more damage when it comes back? I didn't see that line either. I didn't consider.
But losing the sack outlet makes that not work. But
the
it would have been nice.
Stockpile has a sack outlet on it.
Oh, does okay? So that could have been a play.
Yeah,
it's pretty tricky though.
Pretty tricky because it requires equipping plating in the first main phase when mana is a slightly limited factor, and it just isn't something I would think of. Also, equipping at instant speed to a red cap to have it deal more damage is a difficult line to see.
Yeah, it should only be one of these,
Okay, yeah. Interesting though. Yunker's still under some pressure. He still needs something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the plating a bit better now. If nothing else, we're just getting more creatures to feed to the vampire.
Ooh.
Bone Shard's coming back though.
Gotta imagine that's gonna take out Ian here. I don't know what's discarded. I'm not sure what that card is.
Looks like Splinter Fright.
Splinter Fright.
Which is a power and toughness equal to the number of creatures in all graveyards, I think.
And it mills you on your upkeep.
Yeah. Trample, too, most relevantly.
I do forget that card has trample.
Yeah.
All right, so that was enough to stabilize the board here.
Okay, it is just yours. Okay. Maybe a little bit less impressive then, because while Yunker does mill a lot of cards, he doesn't seem to have a lot of creatures in his deck. But
right, but how big does it need to be? Like, it's achieving a lot of the same purposes. Netsweaver, just milling 2 a turn to hopefully put a big creature into the graveyard. If it doesn't have to become too big of a threat on top of that.
All right, Ingenious Smith.
Griffin's deck looks pretty cool.
Yeah, he's put together a nice deck here. It looked like Citizen's Crowbar, which cannot destroy this Diabolic Servitude, though. Oh no, it is Artifact or Enchantment. I'm sorry.
Right. It cost a white mana to activate, though, and it seems like white mana is a limiting factor, and he already had to spend his white mana this turn. So it's just kind of slow, but it's the only option. But it looks like he has other things he's picking between as well.
Bone Splitter, at least.
bad match for Bones here. They're getting split. They're getting splintered.
Not a
Bone
good day to have
Splitter's
Bones. That is for sure.
kind of interesting because with Ingenious Smith being able to trigger off the hidden stockpile servos, you can get it pretty big pretty fast, and just Bone Splitter speeding up how quickly it could trade for the dino maybe
So
is nice.
Just took the Greaves, it looks like.
Recognizing the power of the Ingenious Smith,
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd attack with. I don't know. I'm thinking an attack with the servo just to get the stockpile trigger, but because Junker probably blocks since he's at 4, but if he doesn't block, you're down a creature you probably want to chump block with.
So we're holding Barb Spike here, which
I think maybe that was the
interesting.
find, because I was pretty sure that was in the Smith cards. Yeah, and this is a 7/7. Okay, we found another saga that is brutal for us.
Yeah, so Eldest Reborn here, sacrificing the red cap. Currently just being a 7/7 menace. I don't know. I think I might have preferred the Barb Spike to the Lightning Greaves, because then we're just repping lethal with the cranial plating here. But okay, come down now.
And still have that option, right? Because we can equip the lightning.
Oh
greaves
yeah, we have
it.
the Lightning Greaves. Yeah, of course.
So cranial plating on it and lightning greaves on it is just lethal.
Yeah. Got the Greaves. And got the plating, yep. Yeah, I forgot about the Greaves. Costing 0.
Yeah,
I've been playing so much with Swiftfoot boots that... although I guess even then he had enough mana to do it, so...
Right. So...
Up a game here.
Good take the
Griffin
spike
currently undefeated on camera. Good job.
Signal Pest feels like a good start here. It's no Mother of Runes, but seeing the Path Razor go to the graveyard immediately, though, is...
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Scary, scary, scary.
Because from what Junker has shown us, he has... I think we've seen Reanimate, Servitude... Eldest Reborn is a little bit slower.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's another one we've seen already.
I don't think so. I think it's just been those 3.
Just those 3? Just he's drawn Servitude a bunch?
Yeah. Well, and Servitude gets cast multiple times in the games where it's played as well.
Sure.
So.
If you looked closely at the end of our match, he had a Reanimate in his hand when he was like looking for cards to discard with the call, but
it got discarded to the call, which seems wise.
Yeah.
All right, so Bone Splitter on the basically unblockable Signal Pest here. But there is Victimize, so Victimize for Path Razor Acidic Slime is is taking a second read on that one, because I'm not sure that's a card that anybody would believe you does what you say it does when you play it. But
Seder Wayfinder really giving the goods this game.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
It was the body to sacrifice and put 2 pretty solid, I mean, 1 excellent Reanimate target and 1 pretty good one, especially on turn 3 on the play.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, worth noting that, I mean, had to be 2 creatures there. You can't Victimize without both targets, I'm like 99% certain. Yeah, it's... to say he's up against it here...
That's the first game.
I mean, unless he can take this Path Razor off the board immediately.
And we saw Ultimate Price as a removal from him in the first game, and that does not work here, so... Junker's deck looking fairly impressive on camera. In 2 different styles. Like, he can go long, and he can also just drop that into play early. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's Mother of Runes again, so can't imagine there's many things you would rather be doing on turn 1 in a Plains deck than putting Mother of Runes into play.
Right. And last time against Junker's green deck, getting into the red zone, I think makes sense sometimes against green because you don't expect them to be able to interact with it too much. I wonder if this game will see Mother of Runes stay back a little bit more once Junker gets underway, just to try to dodge around. He's shown that the black man is largely for reanimation effects, but still.
yeah, and I like that attack here. It's punished by like a swamp and a bone splinter, right? Which, if he discards a big creature too, that's like the nightmare scenario, but that's a lot of stuff to have exactly, and I like getting in for damage.
Yeah, it doesn't even feel that punishing if it isn't also putting a big creature into the graveyard.
True, true.
And Mearsmith a solid follow up here. I mean, we've seen how many cheap artifacts that we've seen already. I think 4 or 5 cards that he could play this turn and trigger Mearsmith off of. And there is one of them.
Yeah, good mana efficiency here.
Yeah, despite Griffin's 0-2 start in this draft, I'm impressed with the deck he put together. I think there's a lot of synergy here, and that's tough to do, especially if you're less familiar with the exact cube you're drafting.
So considering the preemptive activation of Mother of Runes here to guarantee the 4 damage instead of allowing the chump block, decides to do so, just putting on the pressure. Hard to say. Now that we've seen Victimize, I'm kind of more willing to let Junker chump block, but also don't mind the aggro approach.
Yeah, and it's tough too because you can imagine Mearsmith being valuable as the game goes on, so you want to protect it. I understand that impulse. A Victimize here doesn't look. What's the second creature? Is that we have a acidic slime in the yard? Is it the Splinter Fright again? Okay.
Yeah, not sure.
We're about to
Oh, it's
find out
Eternal
what this is.
Witness,
Oh, Eternal Witness.
which this seems like it should be ineffective because knowing that Bindings in hand, Mother of Runes is able to stay back. But I guess if Mother of Runes stays available, that means Mearsmith can't attack. But you have the Mirror that you can soup up and at least trade with one of his more real cards than the Mirror token is.
Yeah, that is interesting. You could make an argument for any of the 3 cards in the graveyard being the target for Eternal Witness, I think. So, especially in the face of an untapped Mother of Runes, getting the binding is saying something for sure.
Yeah, I wonder if Junker had another black mana, would he have just reanimated Eternal Witness, got back reanimated Acidic Slime to gum up the board and blow up the Bone Splitter or a land, maybe?
Right.
But having only 1 black mana maybe
so
makes that decision easier.
Gonna go ahead and protection up the Mearsmith again. Just get in there with it.
So
Yeah, this is not an attack I like unless Griffin's got a plan here in the post-combat main phase.
Yeah, so he's Signal Pest, I guess. Are we gonna make a mirror? No.
I mean, it looked like he was passing kind of quick, so that implies he has something to do when this happens, but...
Yeah, maybe just not familiar with binding, so...
Or maybe expecting it to go after the Riddles, or the Mearsmith?
The Mearsmith, yeah. Or maybe just doesn't...
Not sure.
I mean, hard to say that you don't care about a Mother of Runes, I guess, but...
Well, and the not making a mirror off the Signal Pest and just leaving that 3 mana unused too. Hard to look at that as anything other than a slight misstep.
Yeah. So Ultimate Price looked like was the card in hand. Probably doesn't want to spend that on Eternal Witness, knowing some of the other cards in this deck, but...
I don't know. Being able to use it and get your opponent down to 3 does feel kind of appealing.
Yeah, I guess actually when I look at life totals, it's...
get your opponent down to
Interesting.
3 with a signal pest, which, you know, if it picks up the axe, it's going to be difficult to
Yeah.
block. I mean, I like this.
Yeah,
I like this.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I would maybe, if you don't have something else to do, go ahead and equip over to the signal pest. It's unlikely mana becomes the bottleneck on the next turn, but I don't know.
Yeah, that does seem worthwhile, but probably not like a huge effect on this game.
Right, from what we've seen of Griffin's deck, I doubt its curve is too high to where all your mana is actually going to get tied up, but other equipments could lead to being a kind of mana intensive turn. Though I guess other equipments more than likely just make it lethal regardless.
So Insidious Fungus can deal with the Signal Pest or the Bone Splitter here.
And kind of buys a turn against both, being able to block
Mm-hmm.
the Mere Smith and then blow up the Signal Pest. Assuming the axe gets moved over.
Right. And then we're regrowing the Satyr.
Satyr Wayfinder.
So it seems like we're
Okay.
digging for something to reanimate, which I imagine means we probably have Servitude in hand, but
Like this play from Junker, not trying to, like, he on board could survive the Signal Pest getting in for 1, but he knows about Cranial Plating. This leaving up the 2 mana to activate the fungus seems like it is the thing that allows him to live through the most things that Griffin could have here.
We're starting by moving the axe over here, which, again, we like.
I guess it doesn't live through a removal spell, right? Because a removal spell blowing up, if he then blows up something in response, no matter what, still gets in for at least 3.
I will say that with that Mist Mirror is looking mighty rough right now.
Oh, yeah.
I believe this attack would be lethal regardless with the mirror because he would have taken 2 more damage last turn.
Yeah, the little things can certainly add up, especially in this kind of cube.
Right. Trying to see what the cards in Griffin's hand are.
So I believe he has Ambush, which
Yeah.
doesn't do anything here.
Yeah, Razorgrash Ambush. I think you're right.
And maybe he's reading it thinking that he could have done something here, but has to just let the fungus go.
Is it ambush and swamp in hand?
Could be.
I thought I spied it, but it's hard to tell sometimes.
We're fully in the red zone now. That Bone Splitter's barely hanging on to Griffin's side of the board. If that thing goes
Listen, when the life totals are 20 to 3,
that's true. Yeah.
That's where
it's
that's
like
where
our
you're like-
version of the advantage bar. You just get to, you get less space for your permanents when your life is lower. Wait, hold on. Somebody write that down.
You know,
So no big
you
creature.
saying that. Do they even do the advantage bar anymore on the Pro Tour
Nah.
covers? They don't, right?
Nah.
Our viewers
No
may
big
not even know
creature.
what we're talking about.
Kids these days, man.
Ugh.
Buttes. So just a land from the Satyr Wayfinder, no creature, but Diabolic Certitude. Oh, I guess
Oh, I was wrong.
Chupacabra is a creature. Yeah.
Yeah,
Certainly
but
not a
none of
big
the heavy
creature.
hitters, but
Yeah.
but definitely a good thing to do on this board.
Right.
And now it feels like the game is slipping away here from Griffin.
Right. I mean, any flyer makes.
Yeah, we know he has
Back
Barb
up control.
Spike. Barb Spike seems like a really big draw here. And, you know, Junker's not presenting the most ambitious clock here, and we know about the ambush. Okay, well, there's 3
Oh,
flyers.
how about
Whoa!
Yeah. Yeah, so that's 3 spirits. Obviously together are lethal, but any one of them is lethal with the Bone Splitter. So we have a lot of work that needs to be done here.
Oh, is this the Palaka worm?
That would
Oh,
certainly,
wow.
yeah, that's just crushing.
Oh, man.
But
I
Griffin's
mean,
still winning the race because if he equips attacks for
right.
5, he's not dead on the backswing, and then he gets to attack for another 5. So Junker still has to have more here. Unless he can trick Griffin into trying to trade down some of these creatures, but Griffin just takes the 3.
Yeah, that's not my instinct. Griffin seems like a battler to me. Seems like he loves getting in the red zone, which I respect the hell out of.
Yeah. So there's the Ingenious Smith again.
Okay.
If this finds something like
Lots,
cranial plating, I mean, I guess it's only 2 currently, but it's not
but he's
0.
he's shown us lots of equipment, so there's a lot of potential for this thing to affect the combat math. But as Joey pointed out, the math is already in Griffin's favor, so this is just like cherry on top.
Yeah. So that was the Citizen's Crowbar, which isn't going to do... I mean, it makes a 2/2. Can get rid of the Servitude if we need to get rid of a Chupacabra or remove a blocker, but...
Well, and importantly, it gives +1/+1, so entering a spirit on Junker's next turn won't be enough
Right.
because Griffin could use the crowbar to pump up and make up the lost damage from one of the spirits. So
Yes, get
needs to
in
answer
there.
2 of the spirits or find a reach creature.
Love it.
Which I don't believe we've seen any reach creatures. Pathrazor, the
No, I don't believe
dinosaurs,
so.
and Palaka Worm are not
Does
reach
does
or
the
flying.
does the Nyx Weaver have reach? It's like a spider,
Yes.
right?
The spider has reach, yes.
Okay, so that's the card we're looking for from Junker. And honestly, that would be a fantastic answer, as not only does it block, you then get to sacrifice it to get back something.
Yeah. Binding or...
But
I believe Junker
honestly,
was asking a rules question here.
honestly, I guess if he just attacks this turn, the Nyx Weaver also just buying a turn might be the thing that matters the most.
Mm-hmm.
Though I guess he can't all-out attack because then the ground creatures also threaten him, so has to just get in for 7 here. So unlikely he can put together lethal nets turn. 3 mana. Is this the spider?
No, this is
Okay.
Victimize.
Oh!
So
Okay.
so I believe that Junker's question here was he's getting back this Eternal Witness and he wants to know if the Eternal Witness can pick up the Victimize, which it can.
Okay, this is huge.
Yeah, so we get
Oh
to...
no. And the Acidic Slime can kill the Bone Splinters. The Bone Splitter.
Yeah, so
And he gets to draw a card.
Yeah, so Acidic Slime blows up the Bone Spinners, Junker draws a card, Eternal Witness gets back Victimize, and then presumably we have...
Eternal Witness, you did your duty.
We have
or
Recurring
Satyr
Nightmare at
Wayfinder getting
home. And this is going to turn
Oh
into
my goodness.
the worm.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my goodness.
Yeah. I think
Wow,
I
Junker
would have
putting on a Victimized clinic. Jeez.
Yeah,
He has
not much to say
victimized
there.
Griffin for sure. The equip over 3 turn clock, there's no way we can live 3 turns though against Palaka Worm, right?
So I'm just saying that if we had started off by I guess we had to sacrifice the Palaka Worm at the start. Never mind. I was going to say if we had sacrificed the Chupacabra, we would have a nice little loop here with the Servitude and the... Or no, because the creature
The
exiles
Chupacabra would be
dies, doesn't it?
exiled. Yeah. Yes.
I was thinking that
Yeah.
When he sacrificed the Wayfinder, I had said Eternal Witness beforehand, though, just because if the Chupacabra does die, which
Right.
I think he could have attacked with it that turn, had it die, because I assume Griffin would trade one of his 2/2s for it, maybe, instead of going to 8. Then he has Servitude in hand and gets to continue the loop with Eternal Witness if he had sacrificed it to Victimize instead of the Satyr Wayfinder.
All right, so we're starting the long road back here.
Yeah, no equip first, though, means it's now a 4 turn clock with these spirits, which just seems hard to live through. But Bartolomeo makes it so we are maybe going to be able to block and trade with Palaka Worm and maybe discourages other attacks.
Yeah, so
Your
grapple to
has
pass
instead.
here.
Yeah.
I-
We're getting back Path Razor, maybe?
That thing costs 11.
He picked it up, man.
6, 7, 8, 9. So we're still 2 mana off. I mean, I guess if he has a land in hand, we're only 1 off, really, but maybe there's not a better option. Just pick up the Victimize again. Or no, wait, that thing can only get permanent scanned it.
Yeah.
Almost certainly. Creature or land, specifically, okay. Okay, so Splinter Fright. I like this. There's at least 3... The Fungus, the Path Razor. But we got the Elf back. I don't know how big this Splinter Fright will be.
Well, however big it is, it will only get bigger as the game goes on, so...
Yeah.
Right, and it having trample means that, like, if you try to block everything onto Palaka Worm to not allow its trample damage, you can't just chump block the other stuff. But I think the bodies just aren't big enough on Griffin's side. 14 life gained off Palaka Worm this game, going to end up being enough, it seems.
Yeah, that turn
hard to imagine.
Was completely brutal. I mean, hard to imagine many decks in this format being able to fight through that kind of a turn.
Looks like Griffin wants to line up some blocks here and maybe ease the attack on his life total a little bit here. I wonder if he's gonna sack a bunch of creatures to try and kill off the Palaka Worm. That seems like it's gonna be hard to win a game after you do that.
Yeah, I mean, knowing you have Ultimate Price in your deck makes me less interested in that, but he has the ambush.
Yeah. We forgot.
Yeah, so he is going to take some damage here, but he can get the Palaka Worm off the table, which is probably
honestly
helpful. But
it is helpful in the short term, but is ultimately scary because
if it comes back again.
Yeah, and the Servitude is just on the battlefield, so like,
right.
I don't know. It seems. I guess you have to make this play, but it seems very tough.
I would have liked. Oh wait, I guess it actually doesn't work. You can't sacrifice the crowbar before damage because then the creature doesn't die. So.
Yeah, and post combat, we're just gonna play the Splinter Fright and something. Something huge.
Dinosaurs.
So I think you basically have to. I only counted 1, 2, 3 creatures. I think you basically have to equip this crowbar and get the Diabolic Servitude off the table. But I'm not even sure if that's enough because, I mean, you can chump block this dinosaur forever, but you can't chump block the Splinter Fright. Cranial
plating, draw for turn, so close.
Yeah.
Can we attack in the air and still not die on the ground? We're at 5. Probably not.
Well, the dinosaur doesn't have trample, so I think you need to.
You still need 3 blockers. 4 blockers, really, but I guess one of your blockers can crowbar and destroy the
Yeah, there's just
Servitude.
Too many. But if you destroy the Servitude, he gets back Palaka Worm and gains another 7.
You destroy the Servitude.
Oh, okay.
And it's gone. Right. Yeah, but he's just going to pack it up here.
Yeah.
Well, still a good showing from Griffin in his first match on camera and his first draft with us at all.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's the first time he's come to a draft at all, so.
Yeah, and Junker wrapping up his 5-1 performance on the day. Really impressive stuff.
Right. Easily top of the leaderboard, I believe, at the end of the first day. We didn't have anyone on Sitso. I believe Junker was the only one we had on 5-1. So, top of the leaderboard after the first weekend. We'll see how things develop as we get into the following weeks.
So that's a wrap on the Peasant Cube action for today. Just a reminder to keep an eye out for a couple of videos coming soon. One covering all of the main cubes, including the one you watched today, in a little bit more detail. And one that's going to be going over the structure of our season as a whole, if that's something you're interested in. As always, you can find links to our Discord and social media in the description below, along with a Cube Cobra link to the cube you saw on today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to have you back next time.